Hey, welcome back everyone to Guy Talk for the Uninformed. I'm Jimbo.
And I'm Dano.
Hey, welcome back. I want to talk about hair.
Come on.
Okay, wait. Let me back up here. Before we get to tonight's topic, what are you drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking, for anybody who watched our last episode, I am duplicating a Negroni. Yes.
Until last episode, I know that's a common drink, but I didn't even know what a Negroni was.
It's a beautiful piece of art, is what it is.
And a beautiful glass, by the way.
Thank you, I agree. It's a very nice tumbler. It'll tumble, but stay upright.
I had to buy two of those. So that glass comes from Hawaii. Me and my girlfriend were there a couple weeks ago, and I was just fascinated by these glasses because it doesn't have a flat bottom. The thing tilts back and forth. It's completely rounded off. And I don't know why. I was just completely fascinated with it. I'm sure a lot of people have.
Yeah. So if during this episode I just go, if I do a knee-jerk reaction when I'm setting my glass down, it's fine.
It's fine.
I think that the glass tipping over, but it will not tip over.
What sold me on that was the fact that it's pretty much unspillable. I mean, they were talking about how you could have this glass or that glass on a boat, and it's just, it made its way
It's seaworthy,
back and forth.
as some would say.
It's seaworthy.
Seaworthy.
Yes.
What are you drinking, Jimbo?
I'm doing something kind of abnormal. This is just straight up brandy. And the reason for that is this comes from a distillery, a local distillery called J. Carver. And this brandy, it's called their J. Carver's Island View brandy.
Wow.
And it is so flavorful that it feels like it's a crime to mix this with anything. And so it's just on the rock. Well, my ice is pretty much melted, but it's just straight up brandy. Yes. And it is delicious. So,
cheers.
Cheers.
What tricks does your glass do?
None. Oh. It's funny because this is a Maker's Mark glass.
Yes, I wasn't going to say anything.
So I'm going to shrink the story down as much as I can, but ultimately, I have about a dozen of these Maker's Mark glasses, which, as many people know, is a really good and common bourbon, which I'm also a fan of. But my girlfriend collected these for about a year. They came as a pack where you would get a bottle of the Maker's Mark or the Maker's 46, yep. And it would come with a glass. Mm-hmm. And so she bought an awful lot of those. We both like bourbon. And as a Christmas gift, she gave me a bunch of these glasses. And so I have a whole cupboard full of them, and I love them. They're the perfect size for a Manhattan or something.
If your name was Mark, it would mean that much more.
Wouldn't it be maybe Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Maker's Mark, Marky Mark.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, cheers.
So
again.
yes, cheers. So tonight's topic. Tonight's topic. One I've actually wanted to talk about for a while. I've actually been pretty excited about this one because this is one that
we get back to our roots.
Yeah,
we get back to our roots here.
Dating. Everyone talks about dating, right? So we kind of just got off topic a little bit, but yeah, getting back to our roots. I've wanted to talk about this one for quite some time. And it's really a topic that even amongst guys we don't talk about.
I was just thinking in the bathroom before it came on to the
episode 1, by the way. Go back and check that one out. Public restrooms.
Right. I was thinking, so guys, they might talk about manscaping, but it ends at that. It's like, oh yeah, manscaping. Then we have a good giggle.
Yeah.
And then it ends at that.
Yeah.
We don't go into details.
Yeah. No, it's always a joking thing.
Right.
It's never no, seriously, what? Do you shave your balls? And what do you... Yeah, right. It's never that. And so this one's been just kind of reminiscing with me for a while because it is such, no pun intended, a sensitive topic. And so I've wanted to talk about... So the topic tonight, clearly, hair. More importantly, body hair.
Yes. And
male grooming, manscaping, all of that stuff. But before we actually get into this, I was thinking about this earlier tonight. Before you even showed up, and I was just thinking about women and how how hard they have it, how difficult they have it, because as far as grooming goes, other than head hair, other than getting your hair done, there isn't a lot of options, because as a social norm, women are pretty much backed into a corner. Like as a society, at least in America, it's all about no hair. No one wants hair. The smoother, the better.
It's completely taken for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Like, ladies' hair, it's all about their, hair on their head, what they go through with that. But it's taken for granted, I feel like, by just human nature, just people in general, of having no underarm hair, right?
No,
legs,
unless you're in Europe.
Right.
But even then, I don't know what the norm is today. I haven't been to Europe recently, but I kind of get the impression that it's spreading as far as that goes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know for a fact, though, at least in America, it's really frowned upon. Like, I can't imagine the peer pressure, like women's locker rooms, like even in school, in high school and stuff. But yeah, no armpit hair, clean shaven legs. In fact, I don't know what your experience is, but the women I've dated, after a set period of time, especially in a long-term relationship, sometimes they let themselves go, which is perfectly fine, but they all are very self-conscious. They're like, I'm sorry, I didn't shave today.
So that shows to you, it proves to you almost like they would rather just let it grow. It's like it's more comfortable for them, which is great.
Yeah.
But they're doing it just to try to appease societal norms and guys,
Yeah. I just wanted to mention that, because in this whole conversation that I've been thinking about us having, it's just kind of brought that back to the forefront, and it's like, damn, like we have options. You can shave your armpits, you don't have to. There's you can shave your chest, you don't have to. Facial hair is an option.
Right.
But
anything goes for guys.
Yeah, but if there's even the slightest follicles of a mustache on a woman,
right,
it's frowned upon, it's gawked at. It goes across the board, and so it's an unfair argument. But I just wanted to get that out there. I don't know, it's just a thought I had, and so my hat's off, and I feel bad for all women out there.
Hats off to you women that have to deal with that every day. I don't know. And
the thought of me shaving or nairing or whatever my legs on a regular basis,
right,
just, oh my God, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll get away from it, but
Yeah, I mean,
and probably some people do. Well, I know for sure people do right now, but yeah. We appreciate whatever you do with your body.
This is our public service announcement. All right, we're signing off. Good night and Godspeed.
That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. It makes me think of Lord of the Rings. There's that scene in, I think it's Two Towers, where Gimli the dwarf is talking about how talking about dwarf women, and how it's hard to tell them apart from dwarf men because they have beards too, and they look similar.
It's true you don't see many dwarf women. And in fact, they are so alike in voice and appearance that they're often mistaken for dwarf men.
That's a world to think about.
I mean, hair keeps you warm.
This is true. I mean, we are in Minnesota.
I'm just going to make that one statement.
Okay.
Okay.
So, tonight's topic, male grooming, body hair, kind of the whole shebang, because originally this stemmed from, I had the idea, I wanted to talk about like the groin, pubic area, but then it kind of blossomed into, well, we should actually talk about everything, because you can really have a conversation about every region, and everyone is so different. So I just figured we could kind of talk, maybe head to toe, more or less.
There you go.
But before we actually even get into talking about that, I wanted to make the distinction. I have a little note here in front of me. The difference between dark hair and light-haired people, because I feel the spotlight is way more prevalent on those that have darker hair because it shows up more.
Yeah.
And I have friends. I mean, I could almost count you as one of them because I mean, you know, you've got red hair.
Like you would know that I have hair on my arms.
Exactly. And I've got friends that that are blonde, and you would not know that they're an hairy individual within like 6 feet because it's so fine and so light. So I think to some degree, a lot of the stuff is more relevant to those individuals that have darker hair.
Yeah.
So there is something to be said about that. But why don't let's just dive into it. Let's just start with our normal hair. Like
Okay,
the
let's start
head.
with that.
And as long as I've known you since 2008, I think, and you have always been not necessarily a baldy because I've seen you at different, but typically you buzz your head.
So 2008, yeah, I think about that time I was on a weekly basis, and it's been ever since. I've not paid for a haircut since 2006.
So
I've always
so since then you've just
I
got a
shave my
clipper
head
and you just
once a week.
Once a week.
Yep, just shave it down to this is probably it's probably 5 days in.
Is that like just a zero? There's just like the
yeah. So I have a Remington, and I go down to the lowest thing that it gives me without any kind of attachment, and I just go, and that's what I get. That lasts me about a week until it gets too long.
What takes 10 minutes? 15 minutes?
About 20 minutes.
20 minutes? Okay.
Well, I'm talking about the entire body grooming.
Oh, so that includes
just the head is probably that's going to be.
So you do a full body grooming once a week.
That's right.
Amazing. Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
Okay. And why did you decide that? So before 2006, you had a normal head of hair?
No. Well, I was going bald in high school, and I don't remember anything other than just having like a normal. I had a bowl cut like as a 6-year-old, but then after that, it was just like a normal head of hair. And then once I started going bald, I started just shaving it, and like paying a hairstylist to shave my head didn't make sense, so I just started doing it myself in college, I believe. So it's just been that ever since.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Pretty straightforward.
I knew a few friends in high school that that started balding pretty early, and I kind of took that to heart. Like it was kind of an eye opener. It's like, holy shit, this can happen a lot earlier. I always thought, male pattern baldness was a thing that happened when you're in your 40s and 50s, or later.
Yeah.
And now as I approach 40, I'm like, holy shit, like that's even more in my backyard than I thought.
It's funny, like I'll preface this by saying I've always said I'm the happiest bald man there is. Like I'm so happy being bald because there's no maintenance.
No.
It looks like me, like I just love it.
This side looks the same as this side.
It's symmetrical.
Yeah.
But like growing up, I remember just as like a teenager just being mortified, just thinking about my hair and thinking, I think is probably once my hair started falling out, like you're supposed to, rumor has it, you're supposed to get your mom's dad's hair. And my mom's dad has a full head of hair. He has more hair than me, and he's 80 years old right now.
Wow.
But so I'm like, oh, I'm safe, I'm fine. Then my dad's side, baldies. And for some reason, like I was, societal norms again. Like you don't want to be the bald guy. And it just happened that way.
I think I'm partially a fluke because my mom's dad, my grandpa on her side, which, not to get into any drama, but when I was about 15, he had a stroke and there was a lot of drama on that side of the family. So I didn't see him much, but he was always pretty, like very fine hair, almost Charlie Brownish. And my grandpa on my dad's side has a fair amount more hair, but also pretty balding. And so I was like, well, if we're going by those statistics, I'm not in good shape here, but it's not terrible. But when before I get into like my side, what was your hair like before you started shaving?
I've always had a big forehead. I know that.
Okay.
I've always had a big forehead. So I think like this is where the lowest my hairline has ever gone is right there.
My forehead dwarfs yours.
Dwarfs. Yeah.
Yeah. If I
Wait. Do you mean your forehead is bigger than
yes.
mine? It dwarfs. Oh no, I don't think so. I think
it's because I've got bangs.
I don't know. I feel like I have a bigger forehead, but it's always been like kind of like the island came out, whatever, they call this the island.
Yeah. Well,
like
by
11th
forehead,
grade,
you mean
10th grade, 11th grade.
You can't count the midsection.
I feel like,
forehead. Your forehead
even,
ends
even when
here.
I had a full head of hair, it was coming down to here. Like that's it.
That's fine.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know.
What say you, women?
What say you?
Or men? Yeah. Oh, interesting. Did you spike it? Did you comb it?
No, I just remember the only thing.
Did you have curly hair?
No, it was always straight. A lot of cowlicks. You know the word.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that. And whenever the
cowlicks,
right? Cowlicks. Yeah, it's all. And then running a comb through was always, but I never really combed my hair. It was a bowl cut. All I remember is a bowl cut, and then just having it like this but longer, and then slowly losing hair every year. But now, like, I feel like I haven't lost like since junior year in college. I feel like it's been the same.
Shaped.
That too. I might lose like 1 millimeter of hair every year.
You've got the nice tucked ear. No. You make the skinhead. You make them proud.
Thank you. Have you? And maybe this is too early to get into that.
Oh.
But have you ever thought about Rogaine? Not that you would need to, but like.
No,
yeah.
So my whole thing has always been, I mean, I can get into my hair if you want, because it relates to
Please
that.
Please do.
So for me, I've went through many phases. I think I don't know about you, but a lot, like me and a lot of my friends growing up, like when you're a kid, going through grade school, even spilling into like junior high, like your mom always wanted to make you up like your dad. And so like I remember going through grade school, parting my hair, combing it over, doing that actually for quite a while. And I was like, oh, there's hairspray. I went through many different styles of hair.
Yeah.
I had the bowl cut in like sixth grade, and that was really popular. I went through many phases. Actually, in seventh grade was kind of the anomaly. I had because it was cool to buzz your head.
Was it?
It was a cool thing at the time.
Nice.
I remember, this is one of the few class pictures I remember, but I was wearing an oversized Charles Barkley jersey, and I had a shaved head. I think I was trying to be a white version of Barkley. I don't know what was going through my head. But
Barkley was as bald as anybody.
Yeah, so I was just like, I had my whole head buzzed. That only lasted 1 year, because the next year in 8th grade, back to short hair. But throughout a lot of my school, it was styled that way. The part changed, like when into the grunge area, everyone wanted to part down the center. So it went all over the place. It wasn't until college that I realized, like, everyone in my family, me, my sister, my parents, everyone has really straight hair. And there's no style, nothing. And you know how it is. People that have straight hair want style. People that have like curls want straight.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that's my experience at least. And so I started spiking my hair. Like, that's a really common thing.
Yeah.
And I did that for a long time. I think I was like 19, 20. I went to my hair stylist, and I was like, I need something up with the times, something new. And that's what she did. And I'm like, and she was really cute. So I was like, I'm going to take her advice. And so I had kind of the messy spiked hair in the front. And I did that. Actually, when we met, I still was rocking that. I rocked that all the way up until about my mid-30s, actually early 30s, because that was when I started realizing that my hair was starting to recede the corners. I was starting to get the corners receding back there.
Yep.
And by the time I was like 34, so I'm 39. So like about 5 years ago, I'm like, I gotta stop doing this. I was making jokes. I was like, I'm gonna keep spiking my hair, and it's just gonna keep receding to the point that I'm gonna be like Charlie Brown or Homer Simpson, and I'm gonna be spiking it. It's gonna be popping up like back here,
Yeah.
right? And so, and that was the joke. And so I started just keeping it straightforward, and it's still not bad. But I've said this to my girlfriend. I've said this to my family, all my friends. As soon as it gets like it sets in, and I know at some point it's going to, I'm just gonna buzz it. I'm not gonna try to fake it. There's no desperation. No combing, no side hair, no back, no island, none of that. It's just all coming off. And actually,
Completely like straight to the.
Oh yeah.
There's gonna be no remnants of a hair follicle.
No. No more than yours.
Okay.
Because I just, it's so grotesque to me to see. It's sad when I see people that are really fighting to hang on.
Yeah, well, the whole like 80s and 90s, that was all, what are they called? Toupees and hair pieces and things like that, where it was a stature thing. Like you had to have a full head of hair to make it.
And to go back to your Rogaine stuff.
Yeah.
No, I don't. And I have a really good friend of mine. I won't say his name because there's maybe a 1% chance.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. But he paid substantial money and he had hair grafted. And I'll never forget this because we were both in our 30s by then. This is maybe like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And I remember I went to his house and he had it done. He didn't tell me this. And it was, I don't know even how to describe this. It was like walking into, not as extreme as this, but I'm going to use this as an analogy. It would be like going home to visit your parents, and your dad has the same body, but his hair looks like he came right out of high school. I didn't recognize him at first because he looked like he was 18 again on his head, but it wasn't the same person. And the maintenance. So he had hair. I forget what the procedure is, but they basically they grafted hair on his head.
So like basically,
and he has to do maintenance on a monthly basis.
Okay.
And so and it's like, I don't know. I forget what the procedure was. A few $1,000s. I remember that. But the maintenance, he has to go in, I think, monthly, and it's several $100s.
Jeez.
A month.
Oh.
But, it raised his confidence. He's very happy. He likes it. And so, props to him. That's just not something I could ever do.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm happy to lop it all off. In fact, I got a little bit of a taste of that, and you may have... I think you may have seen a little bit during the heart of the pandemic, during the midsection. Obviously, I wasn't getting my hair cut, so I had my girlfriend do it, and I bought not a really fancy clipper, but a decent one. It was like, I don't know, $60, $70.
Oh, that's nice.
And does a really good job. And so my girlfriend was buzzing my hair, and I had her cutting it shorter than normal. Because I'm like, well, you're the only one, she's the only one I need to impress. And at the same time, it's kind of fun because it's like, how I look is in your hands now. And she got good. And because normally, they when I clip my hair or have it done, it's like a 1.5, and then it gets blended in. And she was doing more like a 1. She was doing it extra short because I just didn't want to have it done as often. So she got pretty good. And I'm like, this isn't too bad. Kind of along the same lines as what you're talking about with the forehead and stuff, it kind of brought some light to, okay, this is what I could potentially look like if it went a little bit shorter, kind of visualize things a little bit. Yeah. But no, there's no, I'm not going to try to save something that's dying. So when that time comes.
Yeah, I think, everybody has their own choice. I'm happy with what I have. Shave, grow it out. I just don't think I'd look good with grown out hair. But anyways, Jimbo, should we move on to what people came here to see?
Well, let's move. Let's.
Maybe we can just do a slight transition.
A slight transition. We're getting there. As I alluded to. Let's get into the front of the face.
Sure.
Now.
We're working our way down.
Have you so you've got a little bit of a beard going?
Yep.
And it's kind of
as good as it gets right here.
That's a full.
As good as it gets.
Or do you? How often do you trim? And why?
Whenever I shave my head, I'm gonna shave my beard.
That's a once a week?
I'm going to go all the way down on the neck and then just use the attachment on that.
Oh, okay.
Attachment on this, so keep that out. And then I've never had a good beard. Like I'm very jealous of other guys who have no gaps or anything in there. But yeah, this is kind of my standard look right now. This is what you see is my standard. Got a little beard, got a little stash going, and the shaved head. That's my repertoire.
I've noticed your dad is always clean shaven.
He is, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Has he always been that way? I am sorry to digress here, but
yes.
Okay. And my dad's always been a big beard guy.
Okay. The thing about the Schwartz beard, if I may say my last name, is we're Irish. So actually Irish is on the other side. But anyways, if I were to grow it out, it gets more redder and redder, if redder is a word.
Oh, yeah.
So
the redder, the better?
It gets curlier and more red as it grows out. And I see that, and I kind of like it.
It could be a gnome.
So, right. Yeah. I saw pictures of my dad in high school, and he had a grown out beard, and it was red and curly. And
if you do that, I'm going to call you Gimli.
Okay. I'm not going to do that. But
okay.
Yeah.
Damn it. So you toggle back because you like a lot of times you're clean shaven. And
I don't do clean shaven anymore. I never do that. No, this is kind of.
But that to me that's like
this
3 days.
Yeah,
3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go too much further than this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the 5 o'clock shadow times 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
I vary it up. This is like 2 or 3 days, 2 days, which is now the comfortable stage because that first day it's like everything's kind of raw. Mm-hmm. And I'm a lazy guy, so the times that you've seen me with a beard, it's usually because I do everything with a straight razor.
Oh,
yeah. I don't have. You're
living in the 1800s.
I mean, not like. Straight like
okay,
like the disposables. I'm cheap.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And so I shave probably once, maybe twice a week, depends on the situation. If I'm going out somewhere or I'm trying to some event, I want to be clean shaven, or at least at minimum the neck gets shaved.
Yep.
Because that's the thing. That's where I draw the line. Is I don't want a neck beard. I don't want to be that guy because that's some people actually can
of laziness.
Some people can pull off the neck gruff, and I don't know how they do it, but they can pull it off.
Yep.
I can't. So,
if you can make it blend into your beard, then it works. But that's tough.
If I could shave every day with a straight razor, it'd probably be every other. But I can't because there has to be a certain length, especially on the neck. Otherwise, I get razor burn bad.
Yep.
And so there's a minimal length. So for instance, I'll probably shave again in like probably 2 days. But if I'm feeling lazy, it'll just be the neck, and then eventually this will all come off. But again, there's like this timer, and so I've never been and I don't. On me, I don't really like facial hair. I don't like the way it looks. It's fairly full, but I just don't like the feeling of it in general.
What about when you feel my facial hair? Do you like
then
that?
I get a boner. Big one.
Same here.
Huge.
Yeah.
So that's kind of so that's facial hair. What about nose hair? Now you have a small nose.
Well, I don't know. Small. I mean,
Well, relatively speaking, look at that.
you have a beautiful nose.
Oh, thanks.
Beautiful.
You're
nose.
kind.
So nose hair, yeah. Once you get up there in age, I feel like when
I have a buddy that has ear hair sprouting out already.
Well, that's another thing. I feel like ear hair is in play. I don't think it's... So nose hair, I think, came up probably when I turned 30, somewhere around there. I started noticing nose hair. I don't have one of those fancy little things that I stick up there. I am actually old school, and this might disgust people,
Scissor?
but no, I use my fingers.
Wow, you pluck?
I pluck, yeah.
Holy shit! And your
I mean,
nose is small.
I
How do you get
wash
your
my
fingers
hands afterwards, people. It's not that bad. My
How
God.
do you get your feet? You must have microscopic fingers because, like, you have a small nose.
I don't even have long. My fingernails are trimmed too. It's just like.
Well, clearly you don't have that bad a nose.
No, but it's maybe like once a month I'll see if there's like because sometimes you get those long hanging ones that like stick out.
One,
you know what I mean?
you get one curler that kind of creeps its way out.
And those things are enrooted. Those things are deep in there. So you just gotta.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No,
we're so different there.
I'm a finger up.
I remember specifically the day. I remember I was at the state fair, and maybe this is because I'm a little bit taller than you. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Yeah. But I remember I was at the state fair with my at the time girlfriend. You remember Erin, right? Yep. She's 4'10" and a half. Don't forget that. And with my sister and my brother-in-law, and we're walking, and you know I've got the schnoz, and I remember it might have been her or it was my sister made a comment. And they're like, "Wow, you got some nose hair going there," and only a sister could really say something like that. Yeah. Then my brother-in-law to be, because they weren't yet married, made a comment too. And I'm like, shit. How? So I remember, I'm like, how do I take care of this? I didn't know what utensils you use for that. And it turned out that because we were visiting my folks, and my mom's like, I've got a trimmer scissors, and this little tiny,
like a sewing scissors.
Yeah, like where the blades like come to it's a little tiny thing, comes to a point. And so for a few years, that's what I used. So you're like, and I feel like there's a movie where there is it John Travolta or it's Howard Stern, I think, is doing that. I'm like, that's what I had to do because he has a big nose too. And so I did that for years before I knew that there was actually a motorized thing, and which I have now. Which, by the way, is not much better because while it's easier, it's actually sometimes a little bit painful because if you get one of those rooted ones, the thing is it's this weird like vibrating like spinny little thing with these vents on the side, and it kind of sucks the hair and clips it in. So if you get one of those like little curly thing, like little rooters, it hurts. It's not like real pleasant. So that's what I use now, but I feel like there's more real estate, so I have to do. I check it fairly frequently, but it's not a fun one. No.
And it's only going to get worse.
It's only going to get worse.
You mentioned the ear hair.
The ear hair.
That's slowly coming on. I don't... Maybe...
Because your ears don't stop growing.
Well, that's another thing. No, so I don't really check it, but if somebody were to say to me, Dano, you have a long hair in your ear, then I'm going to start checking my ears.
I know.
Yeah. But time will make that a issue as well.
So, all right. So we got neck. Now I know it's not really a big deal, but you know, I have friends. We've all known people that have a shit ton of neck hair, but not even getting there. Like even just starting with like the neck line, because one of the things is, you know, I cut my hair once a month on average, right? But in that time, there's always I get like two streaks coming down my neck, and as soon as that starts coming in, I get really self-conscious. I'm like, oh, this is bothering me. And so I've kind of trained my girlfriend or asked her. She's gotten really good with just doing the neckline, but that bothers me. And it's a bit of a nuisance. And I always remember seeing, there was a guy in college, and there's always those dudes that have like almost like a fro coming out of their neck, like real grizzly guys. Yeah. What do you do for your neckline?
So neck, I am really not too concerned about it. When I'm shaving my head, I know there's the 2 lines that go down.
Yeah.
And there might be some stragglers heading towards the neck, so I always make sure to like go far down.
Oh,
with
so
my
you
razor.
Do it yourself? Okay.
Yeah. So I just make sure to go far down on the 2 lines, and then.
Well, I guess because since you buzz your head, you don't have to worry. Because like for me, it's like where there's actually hair, you want that to be square.
Right. You want it to blend.
Yeah, and I can't do that on my own.
Not really a issue for me.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. I'm thinking at the end of this, I'm going to be pro buzz my head. I'm going to jump the gun.
I'm telling you, I'm the happiest bald man around.
You are a happy dude.
There's a lot of positives to not having hair.
Yeah, and as we've witnessed, there's a little inside thing, but as we've witnessed, we've had out playing volleyball, there are many women that really are attracted to the baldies.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You should, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe,
that's
yeah,
true.
you were around, I think. Anyways, well, I mean, your girlfriend's included.
Yeah. Inside joke. Is there, I thought we were going to have a phone in on this episode.
Chris, you out there? I know. I kind of dropped the ball on that
we
one.
forgot about that.
All right. So we want to start incorporating questions coming in. And we've got a couple of lady friends that have opted in to be interested in submitting some questions.
But. Well, like just the woman, what we started the episode with. We could have maybe done that. But hey, you know what? We're growing, and we're gonna get there.
Yes. Yeah. So speaking of growing, let's progress down a little bit. Do you get so most people or a lot of guys get like shoulder, back hair, even follicles on like your arms.
Yeah.
Do you experience anything like that?
I only get the random long weird hair on the shoulders, like back here where you can't see it.
Like
and then you're out fishing with your friends with your shirt off, and you're like, hey, you have a 4-inch long hair growing out
just
your back
one
hair.
straight.
Right.
Yeah, what's up with that? Like, don't tell me that's testosterone. Like, it's just like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I kind of like, I'm kind of in the same boat. I have like from the shoulder blades down, nothing. But I get like the stray follicles like on the blades, like around there.
Yeah.
I get a couple, like the shoulders right about here. Right about down to here. I get a few follicles, and so I'll buzz those off periodically. But that's actually about it. I feel lucky because one of my friends, not going to say names here, he has almost like these V stripes going from the low back all the way up. And then I have another guy that's pretty much like an ape, and it's just like all. In fact, he did a whole for his honeymoon. He did a wax.
Wow.
I know.
That's true love.
That's true love. I've just like, he's like, never again. Like, I asked him about it, but so I feel lucky there because that I can actually, everything that's annoying I can reach. Now I don't do that on a regular basis. It does come back. The only time that I will proactively do it is if I'm wearing like a tank top, like if we're playing volleyball, or if I'm going to the gym and I'm wearing a tank where it shows. But that you can get with a trimmer, with a clipper, pretty easy. It's like one and done.
Yeah.
But so I feel really lucky there because I know several guys that are just super grizzly.
But you know what? They're always warm.
They're always warm.
Their motor runs hot.
And let's be fair, some women like that, or some guys like that. Jesus, I'm going through this brandy really quick. But now,
drink it up. There's more where that came from.
There is. I shouldn't get up and get more.
So from the back in the...
Well, we should talk about...
We go down to chest? Where do we go from here?
Oh, we go chest. I forgot to put it on my notes. Chest falls right in line with the whole tank top thing.
Yeah.
Do you groom your chest?
Yes. I'll be the first to say I have... It's even worse. Like my beard, I feel like is adequate. It's fine. Any kind of body hair in this area, I'm in the lower 5% of growing body hair on my chest.
Oh, so you don't have...
I
mean, I seen you with your shirt off.
Like it propagates, is that the right word? Around the nipples.
Yeah.
There's going to be that, so I'm going to shave that.
Yeah, you get the long ones on.
It's not like I see guys with their button-down shirts and they're like, just a bush flying out of there. Like, it would take me 190 years to grow that.
Prove it.
I have the...
We'll come back in 190 years, folks.
Yeah, there's little... there's things that come out, but it's like, I'll just shave them off and just not worry about it because it's not worth even growing out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a good anti-problems.
Yeah, so for me, it'll always be shaved chest, no matter what.
So it's just basically nipples and maybe just a little bit.
I mean, there's enough. Like if you get close enough, you're gonna see some sprawling.
Some follicles.
Follicles, sure, yes, you're gonna see that. But nothing too crazy. I mean,
it's like a little tiny plant.
And I don't. That's the thing too. I don't shave them all the way off. I shave them so there's enough to grow. Like, I want the ones that are there to continue to grow, and maybe mentor the other ones that are coming. But
plant some seedlings.
Right. But I just don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Gotcha. Well, for me, it's a bit of a different story. I've got actually. The pattern of hair that grows on my chest is actually kind of cool.
Oh, let's see it.
Wolverine's the wrong example, but I get this V thing going so it goes like this, and then it kind of comes up like here, and it's not bad, but oh man, this is opening up a can of worms. It's not bad. So I will. It's kind of like my face. I will buzz it off when it gets out of control.
Yep.
And by out of control, I mean things are going in weird directions, like follicles are. And if you're wearing a breathable shirt, like to the gym, and like stray follicles are poking through the garment, that's when it's a problem. And so. I will take my male groomer, which I'll get into in a minute, that I use, and I'll just lop all that off. I won't use a blade. I've done that in the past, and I don't like it because the same reason as a neck, you get razor burn. So I'll do that, and then I'll let that get to a certain length. Now, my girlfriend and of past, they claim that they like something they can run their fingers through, but that there's a caveat to that. You don't want something that's like ridiculous, and it can get there. Like my chest hair grows way quicker, I feel like, than my facial hair, and it goes longer. So I'm way more apt to doing that, especially with wearing tank tops. Like I don't mind a little bit, but if it starts getting long, you don't want that like peeking out the sides, just like you don't want armpit hair like coming out, to the vast land of sorts. Yeah. So that's just how it goes, and that goes relatively quick. But no, I mean the pattern's good. It's just it grows quickly, and so I have to kind of stay on top of it a bit more. But again, like depending on what you're wearing for a shirt or a tank top or whatever, I mean, if I wore long sleeves all day, I would never. Well, no, I definitely would at some point. But and I've got grays too. like everywhere. Kind of like, I've got some on my chin. And that doesn't really bother me. Do grays bother you? Okay.
My whole thing is, not to sound cocky, I'm only going to get better looking as I grow older because I feel like I'm going to look better with grays like sprinkled in there.
I like a little salt in there.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Yeah. I just had my 21 because it was going to be my 20th year class reunion, but because of the pandemic, it got pushed a year. And so just last weekend, I had my 21st year 21 year class reunion. And I saw a buddy of mine, and he's a really skinny dude, but he likes growing out beards and stuff. And he looks good with a beard, but he's developed some grays, and he's got it's not, there's no symmetry, nothing. It's just like one stripe of gray, or actually it's just pure white. It's not even gray. It's just pure white.
Yeah,
I fucking love that.
That's
shit.
great.
It's so awesome. So now we're getting to the goods.
I have to go to the bathroom.
We both need to pee. All right, Daniel. So now we're into the crux of this, what everyone's been waiting for. The pubic region, the growing.
Oh, we don't talk about that, do we?
All right, that's it. Cut it off. That's it. Tune in another time. No. So we're down to the region.
Yeah. Everybody has one, by the way.
A region?
A pubic region.
Oh, pubic region. Yeah. Wow, is this Sesame Street? It's the new Sesame Street. So this is why. So this whole area is the crux of this topic because no one talks about this.
Right.
I mean, we're friends of.
We've never talked. Yeah.
14 years. We've never talked about this. I've rarely talked about it. The closest I've ever come to talking about this was, and I can remember this very distinctly, was on a ski trip when I was just freshly 21, and it was me and two of my at the time best friends, and there were, I think, 3 girls. We were all on this big ski trip. We were all in different rooms, but 3 guys were in the general same vicinity. The girls were in another room. We were just friends. Mm-hmm. And I remember, because some people were in relationships, some weren't. And I remember talking to my best friend, Scott, who you've met, and my buddy, Brett. And I remember asking them about, like, do you guys shave your balls? Do you get rid of all the pubes? Do you leave a little bit there and stuff? We started talking about manscaping, but we're drunk, freshly drunk, because we're 21, and very loud enough to the point that the girls could hear us, and so they pounded on the wall once we started getting into the nitty gritty, and that was pretty much the extent of it. After that, we've brought it up, but it's always a joking thing. It's always kind of like, I don't want to be serious about this because I'm afraid of any sort of criticism.
But where do you learn
porn?
Right, like porn, probably. Your parents don't talk about it in their sex speech. It's not brought up anywhere.
No,
I mean, nowadays you can find it on the internet, I'm sure. But
there's probably dating apps now that's a question. Like, how groomed are you?
Yeah.
But no, no one talked about it. Not even amongst friends. It was always jokes. It was always
But if somebody did, let's say your best friend said, "Oh yeah, I shave everything off," you would probably just do that, thinking it was a thing to do.
The first time that I heard a legitimate conversation about attacking the pubic region was actually a morning show on the radio driving into work. I was commuting about an hour into work, and so I had plenty of time to turn on the radio. And I don't know if you were familiar with the Free Beer and Hot Wings show.
No.
Okay, it was a show broadcast out of Tennessee, Nashville, but it was replayed on one of the St. Cloud channels, and it would phase out about midway through. But they talked about shaving balls.
Way to go, Tennessee. Way to be ahead of the...
And they were legitimately serious about it. And I remember, and I was probably like 23 at the time, 20, yeah. And so I was like, holy crap. Because I had, like we were saying, like, porn is about the only thing that you're like, oh my God, they have no hair. Or, wow, they have a lot of hair.
Right, yeah.
So it was eye-opening. And yeah, it's like a taboo topic.
Yep.
And so, I mean, I was like, we need to talk about this, because at some point you kind of come into your own as far as what's appropriate, or what stage am I going to take in this game. And a lot of that kind of came from just dating in general. I don't know about you, because I remember early on thinking that, oh shit, if I want a girl to go down on me, she probably doesn't want some vast pubic hair in her face, and vice versa.
When did that change? Like in the 80s, 90s?
Yeah,
I feel like
in that right
decade.
It definitely
transition.
was in the 70s. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, where do you go from there? And because no one's talking about it. I remember. Do you remember like junior high, early high school, the locker rooms?
Yep.
There was always some dude that was way hairier than everyone else, and you're like, oh my God,
The man-child.
This dude matured like 10 years above everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, there's always the dude that had the mustache or a beard or something, but there was always the one dude where you're like, I'm not staring, but holy shit, that dude's got pubes longer than anyone else.
Right.
Or he's just got pubes. Right. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting time in everybody's lives, but once you get there, how do you maintain it?
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't dating or anything. It was just kind of like my own preference of what I wanted to do. And should I get into it?
Yes. Let's do it.
For me, I feel like it hasn't changed. Well, maybe it has changed, but I don't remember what it was before that. But pretty much like the belly button. Like if you start at the belly button, you go down. Like I like to.
Oh, that's a great.
It's hard.
Segue.
It's a different zone. So you have the whole.
Do you like, before you get below there? Do you have like do you get like a hairy belly button like around that area?
There's hair there, yeah.
Do you leave it, or do you, because
so my thing is anything above the belly button up to here I get rid of.
Okay.
Like this region I get rid of. Then I try to, as I said, like crop the up and coming things in the chest. But down below it's whatever I want to make out of this clay. It's
you're a sculptor.
I mean, so
tell him what you want him to make and he'll make it for you.
I feel like I have a nice, there's like a.
So like I get like this strip that comes like about yay.
Yep.
So my belly button's here.
Yep.
And it kind of like almost
it's kind of
here.
like a triangle, almost. Yeah.
So okay. So my thing, it's so weird. It's like, kind of, where do you draw the line? Because if it's that time that I'm like, all right, time to buzz the chest hair. Time, like, where do I stop? Because, and I'll get to the region, but, and maybe this is better saved for a little bit later in the topic, but like, I have pretty grizzly legs, and I'm not going to do anything with those. So it's like, all right, I'm clean shaven from here, and then I'm just a Yeti from here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'm kind of jumping the gun on that. But so, anyways, back to the belly button.
Yeah, I just don't know how to like transition it down to
the groin.
The groin. Yeah, just like, so let's maybe start.
Yeah.
At the penis. Yeah. Or above it, the region that has hair.
Yeah.
And I like to keep it trimmed.
Yes.
For sure trimmed. And then like from there, like gradually goes down to like less and less hair.
Okay, you kind of, yeah.
So
blend
you
it
kind of
out.
have like a blend in. Like you have the region around it, just like,
Yep.
and then you blend it out.
Was it always that way, or did you make any, like, were you like, whoa, I'm never doing that again? Or,
I feel like it's always been that way.
wow, lucky for you. I made all kinds of mistakes.
I mean, early on, sure, I had the big bush. Like I feel like everybody.
No, well, that's not a mistake.
did.
So I don't want to interrupt you here, but like I remember when I thought that all hair was terrible in that region.
Oh.
And so I didn't have a good clippers, I didn't have a good trimmer, nothing other than a blade. And I remember I shaved everything and it felt so fucking awkward. It was so bizarre.
Yeah.
And then I learned that that's a big mistake on a multitude of fronts. The least of, well, not the least, the most of which is that especially when you have a steady partner, if you eliminate all hair, maybe for that day or even hours, it's
Right.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But as soon as those hair follicles start coming in, it's like a fucking matchbox. It is so painful. You get the stubble, you get the razor burn, but what's even worse is that I dated a girl once that also had, that decided no hair.
Yeah.
And if you take a little stubble and you rub them together, you get a fire. It is so painful.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big learning experience. It's like you have to leave enough that it is comfortable to lay flat, because if you don't do that, you're in for a world of hurt.
Yeah.
And so I experienced that pretty early on when I didn't know much about what I was doing.
It was one time early on when I did go pretty much flatlands through the whole thing, and that was just like looking at it in the mirror.
No,
it's
just
not
like
right.
it doesn't look right.
It's
And
not
then
right.
and then at the same time, it's like, okay, well, if this is going to be clean shaven, then my whole body has to be clean shaven, because this is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm already at that crossroads now where I'm like, I don't like anything to be completely smooth, because I'm like, if I do that, it's like an Oreo cookie where half of me is really like my legs are hairy,
Yeah.
and the rest of me isn't. It's just like it doesn't make much sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like, where do you draw the line? But anyways, going back to the
So, well, drawing the line, it's then where do you, like from there, you have the balls, you
Yeah.
have the inner thighs that you go down. Like there's a whole process.
do you get like so for me, legs, I mean, like, yeah, they're hairy, but it's not like really wacky or anything out of control. But I feel like the inner thighs,
Yeah.
it is a lot longer for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
The inner thighs, that's the fastest growing hair I have in my body, I feel like.
I don't understand it, because it's like, what's the difference? Where are the hormones? Because usually what ends up happening is I take my clippers, which I'll get into in a second because they're amazing, but I'll usually get the region and I'll keep it short, but at an adequate length that it's not going to cause any harm to either one of us, me or my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I do definitely balls, the what do you call that? The chode area, the
Chode,
under,
yeah.
the
I love
under-
I love the word chode. It's a
yeah,
great word.
Yeah, I mean, I like toads. Chode rhymes.
Yeah.
And then I'll get the inner thighs a little bit too,
Yeah.
because that's, for whatever reason, it's like, and I'm like, man, if we're gonna have any sort of oral sex,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't want anything obstructing things, because I don't, and vice versa. Like you know, it's a respect thing.
Yeah. Well, for the balls, I try to get down as low as I can. Like,
Yeah.
I try to get the hair off there. Chode, same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember, okay, so can I on that same talk show that I was talking about in my car, The one dude, so I heard two things that to this day I don't know were true.
Uh-huh.
But one dude said he used a razor blade, like yeah.
Hey, that sounds
And
dangerous.
that terrified the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't know what your experience is, but for me, I've used a clipper for most of it, and I have nicked myself, and it is
Very
a
delicate
traumatizing experience. Yes, yeah, for on a multitude of reasons. Like, it's not a completely smooth area, and there are some, like, yeah, there's that one rib, I don't know how you describe it, that goes right down kind of the center. And in general, unless you've just like masturbated or something, the skin is really tight, it is not an easy area to navigate.
Well, who would ever do a straight blade on that? Like, who wants the balls to just be like satin on your...
I don't know, a porn star or something? Well, so here's my transition from that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm never doing this. But the other thing that the guy said was that he used Nair. And I was completely unfamiliar with Nair, other than I knew of dudes in school that were on the swim team that Naired their legs.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that's something you can buy at Target? Okay. So I figured, like, the first time it was painful, but I Naired my balls.
You Naired.
Yes. Yeah. Now, there's a science to it where I got to the point where I knew if I waited 6.5 minutes for the Nair. Now,
6.5.
6.5.
That's very specific.
Very specific, because the first time I waited too long,
Yep.
and then the next time it wasn't long enough. And so if you guys aren't familiar with Nair, most of you I'm sure are, but it's kind of this creamy jelly liquid. It looks like nothing. It's white. It doesn't look like much of anything, but it's like a chemical that disintegrates hair, and it's the closest thing to waxing I've ever come, because I've never waxed anything. But you rub it on, like for me, rubbing on my balls, but you don't want any contact with your inner thighs, because that will take some of it off. So you're kind of squawking around like this, and I'm waiting for my timer.
Lathering up your...
Yep. And I put it on pretty thick, and you're waiting, walking around, kind of whatever. And then when the time's up, hop in the shower, grab a good hot washcloth, and the hair just comes off. Wow. Now, there is discomfort to it. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, Nair, oh, your skin's going to burn. But once you have the time figured out, it's not painful when you're doing it. It's the time afterwards, and it's not a burning sensation. It's a sensitivity. Your skin is basically raw, and so you have to factor that in. So if you're like, well, I'm planning on having sex, let's say Saturday. You do that on Friday, because you have to figure in a whole day.
Let's see my sex schedule here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sex on Saturday. Let's plan 3 days back.
I mean, in my situation where my girlfriend travels, so we both travel, I could kind of figure that in. But basically, you have to buffer a day, because your skin's gonna be really sensitive for a day. And so I did that all the way up to probably 2 years ago. I had done that for years, where I was like, and it is similar to wax. It would last a long time. It's getting the hair at the roots. You're smooth as a baby, but there is a price to pay for it, and so it works, but yeah, you have to put up with something there.
Yeah. Well, it's an option if somebody wants silky smooth balls.
Yeah,
there you go.
And I mean, like, the container is like this big, I suppose. But yay. I probably still have some in my bathroom. But that was the only application for it. It was just my balls. It was nothing else because like it's going to be down to the skin, like nothing.
Yeah.
And I had made that mistake the first time too, where it's like the same thing where, yeah, it's great for a while, and then all of a sudden, oh no, the follicles are coming in, and it's now a matchbox.
Yeah.
But I've recently discovered a much better alternative, and this is not a sponsored video, but I don't know what you use these days, but I was watching, me and my girlfriend like to watch the Kevin Smith podcast called Fat Man Beyond, and they have a sponsor there called Manscaped, and basically it's what you think it is. They put out a product that's basically a clippers for your balls and your pubic region, or actually you can use it anywhere. But what's cool about it, it's very affordable. This isn't a sponsored video, but this is, I think, the Lawn Mower 3. I don't know. You can go to Manscaped's website if you're interested. But what's cool about this is it's got a ceramic blade. And so, I kid you not, you cannot cut yourself with this. I've used this super frequently for the last year, and I have yet to clip myself. And you get super confident because of that fact. It's cut the time, no pun intended, it's cut my time in a fraction. It used to take me forever because I'd be meticulously really careful, but being that you really can't cut your skin with this, it's awesome. But one of the little things that I thought I hadn't even thought of was that it's got this LED right up here. So if you turn this on, it's got this little LED here, and I never thought twice about this until I'm going
until
down.
You're down in your
you're down there,
nether regions.
Yeah, and you realize the lighting in the bathroom or wherever you're doing this is not that great, and
you got to lie on the bathroom floor with your legs to the sky.
Go. Yeah,
that's what you got to do.
Oh, then you need a partner. Yeah. But it's amazing, and I would buy a second one if I know they're up to a new version, but it's never broken. It's got a little charger, but this thing's awesome. I use this everywhere. It's not just the groin, for those stray follicles behind
in the grocery
whatever.
store and the
I carry it with me. It's in my glove box all the time in the car. Yeah, but Manscaped, it's the lawnmower or whatever. It's whatever they sell. This is $60 or something. It wasn't even that bad. If you again, we're not sponsored, but I think they still have the code active for the Fat Man show, and it's 20% off. So look up the Kevin Smith Fat Man podcast, Manscaped, and you'll find that code because I think it's still active. But that thing revolutionized everything. I can just whoop, whoop, whoop.
I feel like, bring it back out here.
Yeah.
You could use it as a cheap vibrator dildo.
Maybe backwards like that?
I mean,
I don't know.
if you use your imagination.
Ladies, yeah, we would be curious to hear what you have to say. Maybe the LED light enhances something. I don't know what, but yeah. But no, that thing has changed my life for the better. It has decreased the amount of time I spend grooming dramatically.
And grammatically.
So yeah, I like keeping things as short as I can, but with enough that things are comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that's a product of I really do think it's a product of the 90s. I don't think 80s was kind of a transitional period.
Yeah.
But I think really the 90s kind of drew that out. And now I know my girlfriend claims she's never seen porn. But I remember that was kind of I'm like, my God, these guys are like babies. What the hell? I'm supposed to look like that? No way.
Yeah.
And I've never
feel
done a
most
wax.
Most guys would say they would instead of talking to their guy friends, because it's like the manly thing, like you said before, where it's oh yeah, Manscaped, but then you leave it at that. It's what else?
There's always jokes about pubes, but no one actually really, and you always see those in urinals.
Yeah. Yes,
I
you
think
do.
I think the point to take away from this is to have a conversation with your partner,
Yeah.
because that's ultimately where it counts, is in the bedroom. And if you don't have that open communication, like maybe she's into something that you're not aware of, or vice versa.
Maybe
you know?
she likes to plow through a jungle to get to the treasure.
You just don't know. Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, I'm always surprised when I hear like, oh, I like chest hair. And I'm like, really? Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Or I like clean shaven, or I don't, or,
Yeah.
talk to your partner. So
Yeah.
another PSA right there.
There you go.
All right. So let's get, did we cover everything there? We covered, chode. Oh, well, if we're on that route, have you ever shaved your ass or known anyone that cause
For sure.
butt hair?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
there.
I shave my butt hair
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you get the innards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't like any lingering hair on my body.
Yeah.
So for sure. Yeah. I get in there.
For me, it's about consistency. So it's like if, and that's kind of an oxymoron. Well, not an oxymoron. I'm kind of a hypocrite because I don't shave my legs, which are hairy. I do the inner thighs,
Yeah.
the butt. There's usually some hiders on the innards, but otherwise, there's not a whole lot like beyond that. Have you ever thought about unless you're like for me, unless I was swimming
A Brazilian.
or something? Yeah, going the full bang or the leg hair. But
No.
I know for you, you have light and fine hair on your legs. I'm pretty grizzly, and so I'm a little more conscious of that. I feel like.
Yeah, like when I do shave, like the pubic region, it's probably like once every 4 times I do that, I'll go to leg hair and I'll do like that, like the.
Have you ever thought about have you ever like gotten like you're like, okay, I'm done there. What time is it? 1 in the afternoon or whatever.
I got a whole day here.
Yeah. This could
what
be
else can I do?
fun. Like, have you
Right.
ever like contemplated? You're like,
No, never once crossed my mind.
yeah.
I only have certain
haven't seen
regions that I focus on. And then the other thing is like just anything as far as I think most guys don't have a whole lot of hair
on the lower back.
right on their back, on their lower back, but my God, any guy who does, I feel for them. Like maybe it's a great thing for you, but that would be so hard to just like navigate around, and you kind of just have to let it be there if you're at that point. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, at that level, it's I feel like you're either all in or all out.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
again, where do you draw the line?
Right. There's a line has to be drawn somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on that note, I feel like we've actually got it, again, we've got it easier than women, because I feel like for them, their region is a way more sensitive area, and there's way more avenues to injure yourself. I just, it's so one-sided.
I don't know how they do it, and they always do it so discreetly, and God bless them.
Yeah.
They are a miracle to this world in what they do. And then, like, they present this beautiful body, and, whatever they do with their hair, great.
So I will, when I'm at my girlfriend's place, I'll use she's got a ton, because she goes to Costco, and she's got a ton of really good disposable razors. And I'll use that to shave my face. And she'll be like, oh, just leave that out, because I'll use it for my legs. And I'm just like, oh, your legs. God, what a pain in the ass that must be.
I don't know.
Like I go in the shower, and it's like you're cleansing your body and you're shampooing your hair. And that's it. Done.
Yep.
I'm done. And then it's like, no, she's got much more hair to wash. She's got her legs to shave. Like,
yeah. The maintenance that they put in, it does not end at hair. There's a whole lot more where that came from, and you know way more than I will ever know. But yes,
yeah,
much respect to that.
I couldn't comprehend like a whole nother thing. Not only do they bear children, but
Yeah.
but they shave. Like, and when did that change? Because
when did women?
when was it expected that everything like should just be gone? Even going back, let's just like movie examples, like Christmas Vacation. Your mother waxes her upper lip.
Then they don't speak
Your mother
to each
waxes
other.
her upper lip?
She has for years.
Doesn't show.
Like one simple thing like that, and then to wax it, not even just shave it, like things like that. Just every time I'm like, wow, we're complaining about like shaving our balls or something like that, but it's all for us. The norm is optional.
Right.
It's always been optional. I have buddies that are like, I'm never going to shave my armpit hair.
Guys, no
Or I'm
matter
never
what they do, they will not be judged
Yeah.
on a whole. But
Yeah.
for women, it's not quite that way.
I don't know. Did we miss anything here?
Here's to body hair and women.
Here's to women. How about that?
Well, we should just leave it. Yeah, we should say here's to women.
Here's to women. Yeah. And please comment. We both would love to hear any insights on this. This isn't a sponsored video. This isn't a PSA particularly. It's just body hair. No one talks about this stuff, right?
I don't
Not in my
spend a whole
experience.
lot of time diving through body hair searches on YouTube or anywhere, but I
was
don't
thinking
think
about it.
it's a
If we didn't
it's a
have this
huge
talk,
topic.
I would have been Googling it right now.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We will see you in the next Guy Talk. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.
See you guys.